Welcome everyone to Brighton Met College and the webinar. We're going to talk today about CIPD. So this is all around really how you can start your career in HR or further your career in HR based on the CIPD qualifications. So dive into a rewarding career is kind of what we want to talk about. What we're going to do today, so we click onto the next slide, Bibi, is we're going to talk to you about, who we are. So what do we offer at the Brighton Met? What's our kind of style of teaching? So what do you get from us and why would you choose us over another supplier? We've got also Chloe, who's one of our current students who's studying level 5 with me at the moment. So she's come along and she's agreed to give some real insights just in terms of her experiences and how she's managing with the programme. The all-important how to apply, and then we've got some time at the end for Q&A. So you can either unmute your mic or pop some questions in the chat as we go through. Okay, so who are we? So we're going to go to the next slide. So we're going to do some introductions now. So quick introduction from myself. My name is Ali McGorran. I'm one of the lecturers at the Brighton Met College. I joined in January this year, so relatively new to the college. And I come from an HR background, so 27 years of international senior HR experience, mainly in kind of large corporates, variety of roles from talent management through to learning and development, through to head of graduate recruitment and business partnering. So I joined the college because I wanted to give something back really and share some of the few things I've learned along the way, the good and the bad things and the mistakes I've made, and share that with the students and kind of bring, I guess, what the CIPD put in their qualification and bring that to life and how you can take that into the workplace and actually it becomes a more practical experience as well as a theoretical one. So lovely to meet you. I'm going to hand over to Miranda now to say hello as well.
Hello, my name is Miranda Rasmussen. I'm also a lecturer, CIPD lecturer at Brighton Met. I also work on the apprenticeships as well as a skills coach. So I have over 20 years experience in learning and development. So that's very much my background, but working within the HR function. So I work very closely in HR, designing, delivering various different policies and procedures. I've worked in a variety of industries from the financial sector, insurance, large sales corporations, the public sector, colleges. So I've got a really good in-depth knowledge about different types of organizations. I've been teaching CIPD qualifications, L&D and HR on and off since 2016. I've worked with all different types of levels from level 3 up to level 7. So I've got lots of experience getting people through their qualification. The success rate has been nearly 100%. So I feel very proud of that. And I'm very confident that I can help you achieve at Brighton Met. And over to Chloe.
Yeah, hello. So my name's Chloe Morris. I'm a current student at Brighton Met. I'm studying for my CIPD level 5 and I just started in January. So I'm up to just completing my module 3. And I have a full-time job. So I work as a recruitment consultant and I specialise in recruiting HR positions. But I'll tell you a bit more about my role and about my CIPD later.
Perfect. Thank you both. So you can see there the lovely picture of Brighton Met College. So this is the new campus, opened in 2021, right in the heart of Brighton. So I don't know if you guys are from Brighton or know Brighton, but it's in the North Lanes, really kind of buzzy, very cosmopolitan area of Brighton. So it's a really fun place to learn as well. And we do offer face-to-face classes and some online classes as well. So if you're kind of face-to-face, this is where you would be. And, it's kind of just a nice, pleasant environment. So if we go to the next slide, we're just going to skim through kind of the 3 choices that we have in terms of courses. Which I'm sure you already know by looking at the website, but we offer the level 3 foundation certificate, people practice. This is your entry level qualification. You don't have to be in an HR role. You don't have to have any HR experience. This is to really cut your teeth within HR, if you like, and really kind of get to grips with the foundation of the people profession. CIPD level 5 is that next step up. So that goes a little bit deeper into both generalist roles and specialist type roles. It's an associate diploma. So yes, kind of starts to look into the strategy and strategic HR and at that intermediate level. And then we also offer an apprenticeship in human resources, which is quite a very different offering that Miranda's going to take you through a little bit later on. So I'm going to hand over to Miranda. She's going to take us through the level 3.
Okay, so the level 3, as Ali said, it's the entry level of CIPD. So it's for people that either used to work in HR perhaps and would like to refresh their knowledge, or currently work in HR at an entry level and you want to expand your current knowledge. But it is actually for people that perhaps never even had a career in HR and want to have it completely change their direction. We have a lady at the moment on the course who has who's in a management role working in retail across companies like Primark, etc., who is on the level 3 and is getting lots and lots of good knowledge from that and is expanding their knowledge because they realize as part of their role, a lot of it is people management. And as we know, HR has that element. So it definitely isn't, for people that are fully qualified in HR. So it's your entry level. You do not need to be in a HR role to get onto the CIPD level 3. So it's really important to make that distinction because later I will be talking about apprenticeships and the level 3, which is a very different route, and you will be needing to work in HR for that. But for the level 3, for the qualification standalone, you definitely don't need to be working in HR. I just want to really make that clear for you guys. And so if we move on to the next slide, we'll delve in a bit deeper what that entails at the level 3. And so, as I said, it is an entry level. You are required to have functional skills, maths and English at a level 2. The reason for this, it is an academic course. It's a level 3. We will expect you to be able to write at an academic level, be able to, if you've never done referencing before, but have the ability to do referencing and have those skills. So we do need you to come in at a level 2 at a minimum. The course itself, so we do have these 4 modules. So it's run over 36 weeks, and we cover in depth these 4 core modules: business culture and change, principles of analytics, core behaviours for people professionals, and essentials for people professionals. And just to go over, just to give you a sort of general over what that would entail, so you would get an understanding of the role of HR within an organisation. You would develop knowledge around HR systems, the type of tools we use and the processes. You would get a good understanding of HR legislation, and you'd look at the HR policy framework of an organisation. And we also look at your behaviours as well, and behaviours of a HR professional, such as good communication. You'd be looking at interpersonal skills, how to problem solve and how to work in a team. And we focus on your CPD, your continuous professional development. So we'd look at your own personal performance and development within the course as well. So as I said, it is an entry level, but it does give you a really, really good insight into what HR is and the workings of it. Upon completion, you would become an associate member of CIPD, and this would mean that is a stepping stone to your level 5, which is an associate diploma in people management. So, so the course can be delivered either face-to-face or online. And what we are asking you to do, if you're interested in the level 3, when you apply, if you could make a note of what you would prefer. So face-to-face tends to be run in the evenings, and it will be at Pelham House. So we tend to run it from 5:30 to 8:30. And the online, we're looking at the different options for online. They could possibly run in the evenings, but possibly more likely in the day and for apprentices. I will be taking you through the apprenticeship later on to give you a bit of an understanding what that means. But again, do put your preference down as to whether you prefer online or face-to-face, and daytime or evening, because we can be flexible. We can work with you guys depending on numbers, but it'd be really good to know what you're interested in. And the cost of it is £1,745. Okay, over to Ali, who'll take you through level 5.
Okay, thanks, Miranda. All right, so yeah, so level 5 is Associate Diploma in People Management. As it says there, this qualification is aimed at further expanding your professionalism, your practice, looking at more senior level roles. You might be in an operational HR role at the moment, or you might be in an operational HR with some strategic focus. So for this particular qualification, you'll need to have your foundation level or the relevant experience in HR. You can be in a generalist role or a specialist role. Okay, so this unit really starts to open up what the skills are for the different specialist roles as well, such as talent management, learning and development, or recruitment, if that's your interest, or looking at that kind of HR business partnering route. And as I said before, it really starts to look at a strategy. So how you would be quite intrinsic in helping the organization achieve its strategic objectives. And data as well is quite a significant portion of this unit, where it's really looked at kind of situational data, using data to make sound judgments, or be used to improve organizational performance. So if you go on to the next slide, I'll give you a bit more flavor as to what that looks like. As I said before, the entry requirements for a level 5 is an existing foundation qual, so your level 3 or equivalent, or the relevant work experience in HR. And what will happen is when you apply for this, you'll be invited to interview with the college. And at that point, we can see if you've got the right experience, and we think you're the right level for a level 5. The structure, as you can see there, is 7 units in total. And again, it's over that 36-week period. And the units are quite different, really. So org performance, just to give you a bit of flavor, organizational performance and culture really looks at the different facets of the people profession and how they marry into the broader organization. So we look at culture, we look at human behavior, we look at change management, lots of different facets there, organization structures, and what works, what doesn't work, what different organizations have different structures and why. So really great unit. We just come to the end of that one with Chloe. Evidence-based practice, as I mentioned before, is around data. So really digging into how you make subjective decisions and judgments with your leaders within organizations. How do you use data? What kind of data? How you can manipulate data? Really important in an HR role. Then we'll look at behaviors and valuing people. So what are the different HR behaviors that we'd expect from an HR professional at this level? And you'll do some personal development as well. You look at your own skills and your own talents and see kind of where you'll need some focus as well. And then we get into kind of very specialist. So ER, so employment relationship management is around ER, employee engagement, disciplinaries, grievances, arbitration, mediation. We'll get into some legislation there. Talent management, again, specialist division. We'll talk about, you know, how you prepare your workforce for the future. Reward for performance is all around comp and bends, and then employment law. So you can start to see it drills really deeper into those specialist skills while still giving you that kind of broad generalist experience as well. So 36 weeks, you become at the end an associate member of the CIPD. So you're at that kind of level 5, so more senior than the level 3. And again, we offer face-to-face classes that will run in the evening at Pelham. And again, when you apply, please do put your preferences down. We're just looking to see kind of what people are really interested in, whether it is that face-to-face, which we can offer, or it is online, which we can also be flexible with as well. A little bit more expensive, this one, so 2,995. Again, if there's some payment plans I think available via the college, but you need to talk to the recruitment team and the sales team when you look at that. But yeah, fantastic course. So we can have a look at any questions that people have at the end as we go through. So next slide. So why join the Met? Why not go to another provider? What is it that makes us different? I hope you can kind of see as we're talking that all the lecturers that we have at the Met are really experienced and really passionate actually about teaching. So, you know, I left a career in senior HR to come to teaching. So teaching, you know, is a real passion of mine. I was teaching all throughout my career in terms of workshops and presentations, but we're highly interactive. There's no sat reading a PowerPoint. There's no kind of, just having to do all of your on-demand learning yourself. It's very kind of class discussions, debates. We'll do quizzes, we'll do case studies. We do a lot of bringing what's happening in the current world into the classroom. So for instance, we did a debate with a trade union rep and an employer, really tapping into all of the strikes that are going on at the moment because of the cost of living. And we kind of did a debate where we had teams on each side, really just to bring to life how this collective bargaining works for people and works in these different situations. We looked at automation recently and what roles will be subject to AI in the future, and had a debate around that. So it's really looking at topical, not just academic, to kind of bring all of that to life. And I'm sure Chloe will kind of give a little bit of flavour of that as well. And Miranda, didn't know if you wanted to mention anything around teaching style for your class also.
Yeah, I mean, we're very interactive. There isn't, we don't do death by PowerPoint. We use the PowerPoint mainly for you to be able to use writing your assignments. We have what maybe you would have known as a Moodle, but a sort of intranet where you can access those slides and use them for your assignments. So they can be quite wordy, but we don't stand there reading them. We recently did a case study around the gender pay gap, and we looked at the presenter, forgive me if I get her name, Marina Ahmed. She won the employment tribunal against the BBC over a dispute over equal pay. So it was really, really interesting to pull that case study apart. And we spent, nearly half the session just really looking at the reasons why she was so successful and what she did to win her case. So we definitely don't just stand there and just, present at you. We get you involved, we bring it to life. So yeah, we try and make it as interesting as possible.
Brilliant. All right, I think we're going to hand over to Chloe now. I think we're at that point, aren't we, Chloe? Yes. So just to kind of, hear from you and your experiences.
Yeah, lovely. So as I said, my name's Chloe, studying level 5. My experience is a little bit different because I come from an agency background. So I've been working as a recruitment consultant for a number of years, but over the last 5 years, I've been specialising in HR. So that's where my interest came from to join the course. I was a little bit apprehensive, because I don't come directly from a generalist, HR background. But I needn't have worried. There's people on my course from all different areas of HR. We all sort of got together on the first day and we realised that we've all got totally different experience. So the course would suit anyone, in HR, L&D, talent, reward, or of course, if you're on a generalist HR role and looking for that next step. Personally, I've been thinking about studying my CIPD for a number of years, and I sort of looked at all the options, online or face-to-face, and I decided my own personal learning style, that a lesson situation would suit me. So it's great because I've got a whole new network of HR connections. There's 10 on my course. Everyone gets on really well. We've got a WhatsApp group, so anything we're not sure about or, any questions we've got, we can always just put it on there and someone always comes back to you. The teaching and support have been fantastic. Ali is my tutor, and as she said, she's got extensive HR experience from various blue chip organisations. So for someone like me and others in the group that don't work in HR, they're sort of real life examples, they're up-to-date examples and sort of bring the learning to life. The teaching style is really varied, as we've mentioned. It's really interactive. We're not just, writing down notes from a PowerPoint. There's quizzes, activities, and we have group discussions every week. So it really keeps you engaged and switched on. I work full-time as well as doing my CIPD part-time, and it's really manageable. So there's 3-hour lesson each week, and then roughly about 3 hours, which I do in my own time, so sort of evenings and weekends, and that includes writing my assignments as well. I was just going to say finally that as a recruiter for HR roles, I do really promote becoming CIPD qualified, or moving up through the levels, of CIPD, because it does really open up a lot of doors. A lot of clients, when we take roles on, do request that candidates are CIPD qualified. So yeah, it's great to sort of to have on your CV and to help with job searches in the future. Also, I definitely recommend studying with the college. It's really supportive. It's a great location in town, you know, lots of bars and restaurants and things around if you want to go out with your course afterwards. Yeah, and it's just really supportive and a good way to learn. So I'll pass you back to Ali and Miranda, and then we'll do questions at the end.
Brilliant. Thank you, Chloe. I think, Miranda, we're going to talk about apprentices now.
We are. So the apprenticeship route. So we move on to the next slide. The apprenticeship route is different. It is for people, firstly and foremost, it's for people that are working in HR. So you need to be in a HR role to go onto the apprenticeship in the first place. And that is for both levels, level 3 and level 5. And the idea with the apprenticeship is that you have the support of your employer. It is actually a government funded apprenticeship. The apprenticeships are government funded. And therefore your employer isn't paying anything out of their own pocket. However, they do need to be very active in your apprenticeship. So you would be so it is working and studying at the same time. So roughly they want you to, the apprenticeship is, if you want a 37-hour week, you'd be looking at 20% of that. So about 6 hours a week focused just on your apprenticeship. And if we look at the next slide, I will take you through. So you've got these 6 hours a week, which you focus on the apprenticeship. And if we look at this roadmap, what the apprenticeship looks like is you would apply, you'd come onto the course, the induction, and you would attend the weekly classes, much like the qualification. So that whether that's in the evening or in the day, you would get those 3 hours. If it was during the day, you'd get those 3 hours as part of your 20%. And if you were doing it in the evening, you would get that time back in lieu. So once a week, you learn what we call the knowledge part of your apprenticeship. The idea is then you take that knowledge back into the workplace and you apply those skills through doing various opportunities. It could be shadowing in an area that you've never done, note taking, just being exposed to an area. It could be that you are actually going off and doing wider reading. It could be you're working on your assignment. We call this off the job hours. So these 6 hours, this 20% is called off the job hours, that is focused on your learning. And as I said, 3 of those hours will be your qualification. Once every 2 months, a skills coach, you have a skills coach that you meet with your employer, generally online, it's done over Teams, and you discuss what you've done in the previous 2 months and you set objectives. And those objectives very much look like, this is what topic I'm working on at the moment. What can I do to expose myself to have those opportunities to learn more about this area? So that's where your employer comes in. So the employer, the skills coach, and yourself would sit down and work out what that looks like and where those opportunities are. So a really good way of taking the knowledge out of the classroom, put it back into a live situation and bring all that knowledge to life. So you get those skills and behaviors, not just the knowledge element, which is really, really important, really useful to not just, be writing something that's not connected to your work. So it just brings it, just like I say, it brings it to life. So it's a really, really interesting way of learning. Someone asked me a question on the last webinar, are you paid for this? You are paid because you're in a HR role. That is where nothing changes. You're in your HR role. The only element of it is 20% of your role is now put towards learning. So you're on program for 18 months within the qualification element. At the end of the 18 months, you go through something called Gateway. And through Gateway, you enter something called endpoint assessment, which is a 3-month period where you have to put together a project around a topic, around one of the topics of your choice, and you have a professional discussion with an external verifier. And that happens over a period of 3 months, as I said. And at the end of that, you end up actually with 2 qualifications. You end up with the CIPD qualification, you end up with the apprenticeship qualification. So it looks even better on your CV. Employers are really recognizing apprenticeships now because they understand that it isn't just learning the knowledge part. They understand that you have actually applied those skills back in the workplace, and so it actually looks better on your CV to have both those certificates. If we go to the why, if we go to the next slide, so why a HR apprenticeship? It is a great foundation for a career in human resources because it does give you that, like I said earlier, that it does give you that chance to apply your knowledge back into the skills and behaviours in the workplace. If you're already working in HR, then it's perfect for you. It's a great way of just building on what you're already doing. And yeah, it just embeds that learning even more. You are going to be taught by industry experts that have worked in both the public and private sectors. And the main thing is you learn while you earn. So as Chloe mentioned earlier, she is doing her studying in her spare time. She's doing it in the weekends and she's doing it in the evenings, which can be exhausting if you've got a full-time job. The brilliant thing about an apprenticeship is you are given time during the day to do that study. So and with your support of an employer. So that's fantastic as well. We do have lots and lots of guest speakers, or lots and lots, I say, we scatter them throughout the course of different guest speakers in different parts of HR. So you get to hear from the experts that work in the industry. And when you do join the apprenticeship, you do join and become a CIPD student member as well. So there's lots and lots of fantastic reasons why you might take the apprenticeship route. And questions at the end if you want to hear any more about that. Okay, over to Ali.
All right. So why a CIPD? Why are you going to, spend the money, take your kind of 36 weeks and really get through this qualification? Multifaceted reasons, really. I think personally in my own career, having a CIPD has never held me back and has actually opened up a lot of doors. I did my associate level many years ago at the University of Westminster in London. And then more recently have become chartered member of the CIPD. And what it's done is kind of recognized my, profession in a really kind of, highly reputational way, opened up lots of doors. It actually helps with your salary increases, right? Because we're all working to earn money, let's be honest. And actually it opens those doors for you because it looks at kind of salary progression and shows future employers your dedication to the people profession and the knowledge and skills that you've achieved through doing the qualification. Career development, again, and also the networking opportunities are amazing. So there's lots of kind of smaller networking CIPD branches. There's one in Sussex, headed up by Janet Webb, and they do a lot of face-to-face networking events, talking about all the different topical things that you might be interested in to help you with your work. So, and then tapping into that wealth of knowledge that the CIPD offer. So it's an amazing qualification to have, and it just does further your kind of career prospects. There's kind of no question about it. So absolutely worthwhile having. Next slide, BB.
Okay. So we've both talked about face-to-face or online. So these courses can be delivered either way, and we would like to know your preference when you are applying. So do make sure you put that down. Face-to-face classes tend to be run in the evening, and as I mentioned earlier, they're from 5:30 to 8:30 at Pelham. And they tend to be for people that are on the qualification because it's after hours, after their work. The daytime courses tend to be for apprentices because people are working and the apprentices have those 6 hours to do that during the day. If you did end up as an apprentice in the evening, as I mentioned earlier, but just to mention it again, you would be getting those 3 hours back in lieu through your employer. So that has to happen. So if you are leaving, I've got learners that are leaving sort of their work half day, they have a half day and they perhaps work on their assignment and then come into class. So it can work either way. So like I say, make sure you note down your preference and how you can apply. So just click on the link, we put it into the chat. And when you click on that link, you're taken to our human resources page. within that, you can actually apply for the qualifications level 3 and level 5 directly. So just fill that out, and that will take you through actually applying. Whereas the apprenticeship is slightly more complicated. And so what they ask you to do is just fill in a form, and someone will ring you back from the apprenticeship team to take you through what that looks like. So it's not quite as simple as the CIPD qualification standalone. But like I say, yeah, the link is there. So do have a look at it. Okay.
Okay. All right. So it's kind of over to you guys now. We would love to hear from you in terms of questions. I know there's been a few questions on the chat. If you're feeling happy enough to unmute your mic, ask away or pop any questions in the chat. Just remember that there's no such thing as a silly question. You're all here to learn, and actually we'll help you as much as we can, really around you making the right decision for you. So if there's anything that we haven't covered or you want to know about, or you want us to explain a bit further, then please do. All right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining. I hope we answered all of your questions. As I say, oh yeah, thank you, Bibi. I was just going to mention that. If you do have any questions, you can email communications@gbmc.ac.uk. So if you think of anything after this webinar, then please do email Bibi, and then she'll forward any kind of requests to us, or we'll be in touch. All right, but I very hope to see some of you or all of you in the future on one of our courses or the apprenticeship. All right, guys, thank you so much. And thank you, Miranda. Thanks, Chloe. Thanks, Bibi.